Good evening. Happy Monday. And welcome to another edition of the Opening Kick. As always, I got my man Smoke Dixon here with me in the house. How you doing on this Monday, sir?
Man, only if we would have went live like 10 seconds ago. You're sitting here, your hair is halfway like my guy Bobby Brown's in a Gumby, but you got yours actually going straight up. That's a good look though, man. Only if we would have went live. The world would have known that you're somewhat cultured in the hip hop era. And you're showing your age a little bit singing Bobby Brown in New Edition.
I may have had the Don't Be Cruel album, and that's back in the day when you had the tape and you listened. You didn't just skip to the song on the CD. You had to listen to the whole thing. So it wasn't just
the A and B side. What you talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't just my prerogative, man. It was,
Bobby's super talented, man. It's just a matter of, I think he got caught up in the bad era.
He did. Yeah. Got that was that 80s era could get to you. And then you get with Whitney, who can sing, and you get partying a little bit. And
now you're going down that rabbit hole, man.
Let's get
this live chat going and let's get to it.
Let's get the chat going. Let's get that party started. Let's get this party started. We got a jam-packed show for you tonight. We're going to talk about it. Is Bill Belichick's dating life becoming too big of a distraction up in Tar Heel country? We're going to discuss it. And then look, we're down to our final segment on burning questions for SEC teams headed in the fall. So Bama fans, you've waited patiently. We're getting to you tonight. We're going to discuss Arky, Mizzou, Ole Miss, and your Crimson Tide. And then we're going to finish it off with a little NFL talk. If you haven't been paying attention, man, we had the rookie mini camp going on this week, and a lot of headlines coming across from some of the big names that just went in the draft. So if you're here with us, hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, come on over to YouTube, to the Bama Standard. Hit that like and subscribe so you can get all that wonderful Bama Standard content coming to you. With that said, man, before we get going, Smoke, got to give a little love to the sponsors that keep the lights on here. And that's
love them up, bro. Love them up.
That's one Lambstone company at realrockstone.com. If you're building that dream home, don't hesitate. Go to Lambstone today. realrockstone.com. They're located in Aniana, Alabama. They're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. If you tell them we sent you using the promo code the Bama Standard, you'll receive 10% off your purchase today. So don't hesitate. Build that dream home. Get that beautiful natural stone after the show, of course. With that said, Smoke, before we get to, we kind of like to warm things up with a little side conversation, and it seems like our pre-show talks always go everywhere but football. And today,
Petty, you got to set the stage a little bit better. This is about after dropping my kids off at school, my two youngest, elementary school. I drive into the office every Monday. Mm-hmm. And this is where Daniel and I typically go down a rabbit hole that takes somewhere between 15, 20, 30. All depends on how long I sit in the garage to talk about what other great insight that the world needs to hear. And today we went into the baseball steroid era and comparing the best players of our generation. And I think we came down to Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds. And we both had an equal stance on it. Yep. But I just want you go back and recant all of the great insights, including your baseball skill set that I didn't know about. And your best friend being a pitcher and giving you some real good tangible information for you to share with our great listeners out there.
Man, it's funny. Smoke, usually our sidebars, like we'll call, like Smoke said, and talk as he's going into the office to discuss the show, and rarely do what we'll discuss the topics for about 5 minutes, and then for 35 get into something we just like debating or arguing. And today it really wasn't an argument as much as we were just going down, just debating our thoughts on it. And yeah, we kind of agreed a lot, but yeah, I kind of gave Smoke a little bit of insight from a buddy of mine that played pro ball in that era.
Right.
But one thing we agreed on is, man, you can get over the steroid crap. First of all, it brought the game back. All you owners, you can thank the steroid era for saving the sport that died because your greedy ass players went on strike in 1994.
And nobody's watching people hitting in singles, and nobody wanted to give Tony Gwynn like his just due flowers, right?
Which he deserves.
And our initial conversation started out with Derek Jeter being one of the great postseason players in comparison to Alex Rodriguez's ability to play. And you and I both believe that he's a top 5, 6, whatever number that you want to put him at in terms of Rodriguez.
Yeah, you're right.
But DJ saved his tail so much just because he always showed up in October. Then the conversation went to who's better, Ken Griffey Jr. or Barry Bonds. I'm gonna let you go on your tangent. I'm gonna sit back and just listen to who was your best player during that era.
During the era, I would have argued Ken Griffey Jr. I think, and I'll still may lean that way. I think he was a 5-tool player, man. Griffey had the range in center field. It wasn't just the most beautiful swing from the left-handed side of the plate you've ever seen. He did it at 17 years old. He came out, Griffey had it all. But the more I look back over time, the more I think I leaned Barry Bonds. And as good as Griffey was, and Griffey was fast, he was good in the outfield, but Barry Bonds was a 30-30 guy before it was a thing. Everybody was all big about Rock Raines and Ricky Henderson stealing bases at those times, but Barry was stealing them like those guys, but also hitting 330 with 30 bombs. And Barry was, he was a plus defender. It wasn't like he was a B outfielder and was just all offense. I mean, Barry played left field most of his career and had a plus arm. But it was, I think what struck me, and steroids don't matter. And you brought up a buddy of mine. I had a buddy that played in that era. I'm not going to name any names, but he played for the Diamondbacks and the Giants. And I asked him, I was like, come on, man, what's the numbers on the guys up there that are taking the special stuff? And he said 90%. He said, there's the Griffey, the Mark Graces, the very few that you can probably argue.
Greg Maddux, Chipper, maybe Cal.
Yeah,
Derek.
But
it's a handful of guys that we think, we don't know for sure. But my case that I've always made, Petty, is this: remove Barry's the steroid Barry, but people want to say,
when he hit 80,
heightened his career. Like before, when he was Pittsburgh Pirates Barry, you take those numbers alone, and he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was first team All-Decade player, Hall of Fame player. And this was the point. Everybody was doing them, but that didn't help. That doesn't make you hit a baseball. Anybody that's ever played baseball, you can take I could have taken all the steroids I wanted. And I made it to junior college baseball. I was a decent enough baseball player. I could hit a baseball. I could have taken all the steroids I wanted. And I think you brought up Chipper Jones. He was telling a story recently that when it got to that era where Barry was just crushing them, he would get intentionally walk so much. He would go 3-4 game stretches and only see 7 pitches. And I say 7 because he saw 7 one weekend against the Braves and hit 4 of them out. And unless you played baseball, I don't care how many, I could have, again, taken all the steroids I want. If 7 major league guys throw me a ball, I'm not hitting 4 of them out at any time in my life. And there's not many baseball players, Griffey, Tony Gwynn, you name them all included, that could have done that when they're not seeing pitches. They don't know when they're going to get a good pitch. And when you only get 7 of them over a 4-game span and you park 4 of them, that's where I step back and I'm like, man, as graceful as Griffey was, is good. And I think Griffey gets a lot of grace too. I got to see Griffey live, and Griffey was the person, and they're playing the Devil Rays. It's a nobody game in the middle of the week. And Griffey played that game and was messing with the fans. And he came in and I laid on the back of the dugout, said, Griffey, give me a smile. He turned his hat backwards and gave me a thumbs up. Griffey was a people's person. He played with the fans. Barry wasn't
and I think that's what
probably
a lot of people give Griffey grace and give him his just due, and give him the nudge over Barry, because Barry wasn't gonna laugh with you.
No, Barry
might have instead of the thumbs, Barry might have gave you another finger that's connected, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you look at it, you just look at it from the pure player's point of view. Barry was hell, man. And it just sucks that we can't give him his flowers and get him in the Hall of Fame, because, like you said, there's no argument. I mean, we can argue, but there's probably only 1 or 2 other players that you're going to argue with or about in terms of greatest players of our era.
And you're keeping most of them out because of some stupid thing that saved your game. I mean, the Hall of Fame, it doesn't say Hall of whatever. Then you got to go back and take all the guys that did greenies back in the 70s or whatever the hell else. I mean, they've been cheating since they've been cheating in baseball. But so again, the game's kind of founded on that. But they saved it. I love the conversation. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts. Who y'all think was the greatest of our generation? I think there's a guy playing right now that might throw his name in the hat. And
not might. He might be that boy already.
But in ours, man, my Mount Rushmore was definitely Griffey, Berry, and we're talking about hitters. I would have to say A-Rod and man, Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas was the big guy that could hit for average as well. He wasn't just a home run guy. He could hit the gaps. He could do it all. I loved Frank.
And I think the name that usually just left out, Tony Gwynn.
And just because he didn't do the power, but you look at what strikeout rates now. Tony Gwynn struck out, I think, 12 times in a season. He faced Maddox. It was like Maddox, Clements, and I think it was Johnson, and struck out like 8 times.
Bro, if you just talk about the Atlanta Braves staff by itself.
Yeah, couldn't get him down.
Come on. Gavin, Smoltz, Maddox.
Yeah. Avery, yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and man, it's not like, I mean, he played with the Padres where they had Gary Sheffield and our guy, Fred McGriff, the crime dog, but still held his own. And I think he's a name that we always just, but he's like, whoa, that dude was different. We got tough as nails shot one at me. I know we ain't in football.
Yeah, no, he said he saw McGuire hit his 52 on the way to 70. Look, that season, that run between Sosa and McGuire and the fact that they were doing it a lot of times against each other it saved baseball.
No doubt about it.
Tough as nails, Smoke. How good was Antonio Brown in your
Now, opinion? I know 2 Antonio Browns. You got to be more specific. Are you talking about
he's talking about
Steelers Antonio Brown? Or are you talking about my Antonio Brown, De La, that played for West Virginia and the fastest guy I've seen, period. The same guy that lined up against Devin Hester and spanked him in a flat-out race. But the Antonio Brown I think you're talking about is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That one.
Antonio Brown. Yeah. If you said name a top 5, it'd be hard for me not to put him in there of all time.
Talent-wise,
yeah. Forget the person. The player, yeah. Hell on wheels. Other than Julio Jones, Calvin, T.O. during our time, yeah, he was that guy. And it just sucks that he's not being viewed as being looked at as one of those guys just because of his off the field things at the end of his career. Yeah. And even at the end of his career, Tom went out and got him, and they end up winning the Super Bowl that year. So shout out to him. Whatever he's doing. Not my thing, but flowers to the player. He was hell.
Wasn't a big fan of him killing that Arena League team out there. He's done some stuff, but I mean, again,
I think they're talking Petty. I think they're talking about the player. They're not talking about the player.
And we've had this argument, Smoke. It's where can you delineate the guy on the field and the talent on the field versus
I can, yeah.
I can. It's the talent.
Yeah, the talent is hell. The person, like, if they all judge it, I mean, we'll all be somewhere we don't want to be. Maddox. The toughest he faced. I listen, man.
Gwynn was the best hitter. Gwynn was the best pure hitter of our era.
Gwynn was he's hell on wheels, bro.
It was George, Brett, Gwynn, but Brett didn't do it as consistently as Gwynn did either. I don't think there's even an argument. It was probably Gwynn than Ichiro, and that people don't give Ichiro his flowers because he spent so many years before he came over here. Ichiro, people need to go back and watch Ichiro. That dude.
Who's the last guy to hit 400?
Oh crap! You're gonna ask me that, and
I'm gonna give you a hint. He played for the Detroit Tigers.
The guy I met at a volleyball tournament about a year ago, Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, where do you put him on that list in terms of just hitting?
Well, hell, he won the Triple Crown, and nobody's done that since the damn 70s. We got to talk about. That's one again. I hate it because the baseball. Our era, people are kind of not paying attention to some special people of this era, like Melky Cabrera. The one Albert Pujols is unfreaking believable.
Unreal. I just think that it's sometimes we all just got to sit back and stop trying to say who's one. And if I say one and your one is not, don't kill them. Yeah. Just give them their flowers.
Yeah.
You can express if you like them or not. but don't crush them.
In baseball is such a different, because we talked about it. When you start dissecting Barry Bonds, you got to look at the way he ran the bases. You got to look at different aspects of his game. And again, the way they pitched around him was just different.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, it was must see TV for me. That entire year, if he was batting, I'm watching.
Oh, absolutely.
And after that, I couldn't even tell you who else was on that team.
I don't think
was Matt's last name, third baseman.
Oh no, he was good. You're talking about shoot, he hit like 4. Oh gosh,
he's a third baseman.
Did not look like good. Matty Williams.
Yes.
Keith Mitchell wasn't on that team. Matt Williams wasn't on that team. I think Will Clark had already retired as well.
Yeah, hey, listen. You talk about a sweet swing.
Will had it.
That was a beautiful swing.
You want a fun fact on Will Clark, the only player in history, his first college bat, his first minor league at bat, his first major league at bat, home run in all of them.
Who was Will Clark's teammate in college?
Rafael Palmeiro.
Look at you. I try to stump you, but you got it. I know these guys want to get on this college football.
Yeah. Is that what they're waiting on? Are they waiting on
I think they're waiting on your take on Old Chapel Bill. News out there right now, Petty.
Look, when it's this time of year, the news you're not wanting to hear is your star quarterback got called out in the car late at night. Anything bad like that. But what you're wanting to hear is, hey man, my guys are bigger, faster, stronger. But it seems like all the news out of Chapel Hill involves a young lady that's dating the head coach. Smoke, would you say it's a problem when the university is having to issue a statement on the availability of a coach's girlfriend to attend practice or not?
You know what, Petty? I'm going to tell you like this. I think this is more Big Papi was hell too. I'm going to tell you like this. I think that it's more about who Bill Belichick was before he showed up to North Carolina with his girlfriend. Like, if it was name another coach that wasn't married and had a good-looking girlfriend, and they did pictures and they had interviews, that would be really good for recruiting. But when North Carolina hired Belichick, they didn't think they were hiring like the guy that was going on a Eliminate and like the tabloid Belichick. They wanted the coach robot that I'm on to Cincinnati. Next, I'm on to Cincinnati. That had mantras and do your job, that everything was buttoned up. So now when he shows up, and the first thing that you see about this guy is like, yo, what's going on here? We're supposed to talk about NIL, recruiting, but your girlfriend's on the football field. Doing what? Then you're doing yoga poses. Then you do a interview that she's barking at you and telling you, hey, man, shut up. Like, we're not answering that question. You have he just looks like, most guys that girlfriends tell them what to do and they do it. I did the Feinbaum show with Roman Harper last Wednesday, and Harp asked me the question. I just simply said, Harp, about the dressing. I said, if you allowed your son, your youngest one, Soul, to dress you up for a day, what do you think you'd look like? And I said, if you wanted the world to view you as that person, I mean, that's what she did. She's 24 years old, and he's what, 76? Yeah. Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
Like, she might have think it's cool, but bro, that's the hole in the shirt type deal. Nah, we've never heard anyone tell Belichick what to do. The NFL couldn't tell Belichick what to do.
No,
the owner couldn't tell him what to do.
No, the NFL's
the quarterback
that
made him
refuse interviews, and he didn't do interviews.
Yeah, so it's more of an alarm and an alert to say what's going on here. Do we have our head coach's attention? And do we have a focused coach, or are we allowing someone that's not on the coaching staff to dictate what's happening behind it's not closed doors, it's on the football field.
Well, and it's not just that, man. It's there's the girlfriend distractions, but he seems disconnected from today's youth. Let's be real. What North Carolina was hoping for was they were going to go get the next Nick Saban. There's the Saban ties and the coaching tree. He's got some of that same aura. I think that's what they were hoping for.
Saban here's the difference between Saban. Just hold that thought real quick. Saban was different because Saban coached in college
Yep.
for a long time.
Oh, I agree. But I think
it was the opposite. Like he had more success on one level than the other level. They just hired. I mean, Mac was an old guy, but Mac, like you just said, Mac Brown was more in tune with this generation and this culture of kids.
I mean,
he knew how to recruit. Belichick ain't. I mean, he's never coached in college.
When he's
in the modern era.
Look at the number situation. I mean, he wasn't just not the girlfriend. He made head what lines out of the gate with the whole no name, no number crap.
Come on, man.
I mean, look, that to me screams you're out of touch with
reality, because most of these kids that they're all about their image. They're about their status and what their perception is to the outside world. So the second that you take away their individuality from them, like most of these kids don't know, like, hey, earn your number. Like, earn, what's that? What does earn mean? I've been given everything. Compete for what? This is the Patriot way or whatever way. But I just think that it's not as bad if it was somebody else. But since this is Bill, the robot that we've always known, the button-up guy that had everything in line, in tune. I mean, when I mean robot, that's not a disrespect. I mean, just a well-calculated individual, and everything he did was with intent. Intentional from every move, from the practice schedule, for time that you showed up, the way you took notes, the way you prepared. Like, he's the most organized coach that you ever be around. And in this building, everyone knows what's going on. You talk about players that plays for him, they knew everything about the other team. So that's the guy that you are hiring, not the guy that's doing the yoga poses with his legs up in the air. And girlfriend is on the field during practices, to the point that now it's alerting administration, to the point that he was the hottest thing right now, and they haven't played a football game yet.
No, again, and it's to the point now where I'll be shocked if this. I'm gonna be shocked if this works out. But I mean,
Petty, does he make it to game one?
Yeah, he makes it to game one. But you think it could? I don't know, man.
Does he make it to game one? Is my question. You said you think. I'd love to see what the chat says. Right now we're in May,
and it's just a disaster after another.
And the hours that he works, when is he going to see the 24-year-old? So that you got to think about that. Like, her around the office was like, "Hey, made work fun. She's at practice. I can see her. We can have conversation." Now it's, if she can't be around, I leave the house at he probably leaving at 4, get into his office at 4:30, getting back to the house somewhere close to 11, 12. Like, old Bill is saying, "Hey, man, I'm a single. I'm a young guy. I'm an old guy, but I got a young spirit."
Well, that's obvious. But let me ask you this, Smoke. You brought up a point in our talks earlier. We did talk a little bit about, when we discussed these topics, and you mentioned, man, outside of Tom Brady, is what's Belichick? I mean, is
it's fact. I'll give you simple facts.
What is Belichick outside of Brady? I'll throw it out there.
Outside of Brady, to me, there's three Bill Belichicks. There's before Tom, where he was a darn good defensive coordinator, very good linebacker coach, and a Super Bowl winning coordinator. Right? Then he goes to Cleveland. One time that he appeared in the playoffs in his entire time in Cleveland, and he is 36-44. Below average as a coach without Tom. Good coordinator, good position coach. Without Tom as a coach, below average. Numbers, you can say whatever you want. He would have turned it around in Cleveland at 36-44, one playoff appearance. That was it. Then you go during Tom, with Tom, Hall of Famer, the best coach ever in NFL history.
Yep.
The run that they had in New England, probably will never see that again.
Best in the NFL era.
Period.
History.
After Tom, one playoff appearance, fired, hired at North Carolina, 24-year-old, hole in his shirt, yoga, girlfriend getting banned from the building. So it looks like without Tom, People are questioning, can he really get it done? I don't have to question. I know what the fact says. Before Tom, below average. After Tom, below average. With Tom, the best ever.
So, how much of it? And look, Nick Saban said it best. He learned real early. I wasn't good at coaching bad football players. I looked like a good coach when I got good football players.
I don't know any great coaches. I know good coaches with great players that make them great.
Smoke, I am to the point where I will be shocked if this North Carolina, if he does coach, if something if the crazy just keeps happening and he just says hangs this up, who knows? Because it's hey man,
Petty, I really think he makes it through year one. I think he gets to December, but I think he's gone. Clemson, I mean, come on, Clemson might win the national championship.
I think
it's a beatdown.
Yeah, I think UNC takes some lumps, man. I don't think this works. I don't think the players are going to really buy into what he's selling. I think it's going to in this era, with what I've seen already, I see a train wreck coming in this deal.
Unless he buys into the understanding of this era is player and coach is a partnership. It's not like the olden days where it's a dictatorship. And I think he's a better dictator than he is a partner. This is a partnership in this era with coaching. And it's nothing of you have to be buddy with them, but you got to understand that players have power. And this is not New England. So you can't say my way or the highway, you never win a Super Bowl. You can't win if you go anywhere else. You could have said that in New England because a great percentage of the time that you had to go through New England to win a Super Bowl. Right now, you're at North Carolina. Middle of the pack at best. Program in the ACC, which I would say behind the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12.
The Big 12's better right now.
Then they're the next, and it's really. And then you look at teams. It's Clemson, Miami. Well, it's Clemson. Forget Miami. We can't even put Miami into because Miami has not made the playoffs. So it's Clemson. Florida State flopped. They haven't been in a while. So it's a one-team show. And Coach Sweeney has figured it out, and everybody in the call, rewrite and apologize to him because y'all told him that he was checked out. He couldn't do it, and he's doing it. Continuity on offense in terms of bringing back this entire offensive line, receivers, 3 deep, quarterback, best in that conference, defense, looks like 2019.
Say what you will about Dabo, but his sincerity, people like to joke on him, clown on him a little bit. His
not me, that's my uncle.
His sincerity is obviously as real as it comes because it's persevering through this era. And like you said, he's come out. A lot of people are quietly saying, "Watch out for Clemson this year." And I mean,
quietly,
starting loudly. Like, well, I guess quietly. When who'd you say? Josh Pate says it. It's
yeah. I think they're saying it quietly just so he does not remember the people that was telling him that he sucked and he didn't know what to do. So they're going away quietly. But right now, he said, ha, ha, ha. Y'all better put all the stock up and buy in. Invest in old Sweeney ball. The Dabo's back.
Dabo's back.
That's it. Whenever you see Clemson with receivers and quarterback play, defenses at all 3 levels.
Watch out.
The most pros, when you talk about mock drafts, they have the most players in McShay and our guy, Mel Kiper's mock draft for next year.
Really?
The last time I checked, the teams with the most NFL draft picks from Ohio State and the year before Michigan, you know what they did, Petty?
They won the last football game of the year.
There you go.
That's the whole goal. Props to Dabo.
And like I said, props to Coach Sweeney for figuring it out, man. He's finally got a general manager. He didn't want to hire me because he don't think I'm good enough, but we'll figure that all out.
Surprise, Belichick's not it. Hey, I thought Tam brought up a good point. And this is a team that's kind of dear to your heart because this happened when you were kind of falling in love with them. Why I say Joe Gibbs is great. He won all 3 championships with 3 different quarterbacks. Gibbs is an underappreciated coach. And yeah, he did it with Doug Williams, Rippon. Who am I missing?
He did it with Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, and I thought it was Theismann.
Oh yeah, and Theismann. Good Lord. I got the Rippon and couldn't get the Theismann.
Yeah, he did it in the He did it in the 80s, 70s, 90s.
Oh,
with the Hogs.
Yeah. Hey, man, and now he's doing it on the NASCAR circuit. One more before we get to the next topic. I just love this. Not a chance in hell. I don't think anyone will break.
Hey, you know what? No disrespect to Cal Ripken, but I think that's one of the most
overrated records.
Man, the guy got credit for putting his pants on.
For playing a game every day.
Man, the guy got. Listen, if that's the case, Pettey, I should get props to. I just put my pants on and go out there.
I do think it's more impressive the Iron Man in football. I think that's because you're getting.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but I mean, come on, man.
What's the most impressive record in baseball?
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose? Okay. Yeah. All right. Love that. I love we got into baseball. We may have to touch on some more baseball in the summer. I can tell our chat liked it. But with that said, man, we got to give the chat what they want, Smoke. We got to finish up this burning questions segment. And this week, we're headed up to the Ozarks to, as Smoke so lovingly dubbed it, Vietnam. I've actually called it that for years. I love Vietnam. Mizzou, one of the, maybe sneakier good teams that nobody really talks about in the SEC. Maybe they are now under Drinkwitz. The Ole Miss Rebels under Lane Kiffin, the hot program. What do they do now that Dart is gone? And then
whenever you say Ole Miss, there's like I don't know if you know it, there's like a ring that goes around your head.
Look, there's no doubt.
Like a heavenly silo, I
get excited.
The holy grail of football. So I don't know who your favorite team is. I don't know if you grew up as I don't know who you cheered for, but we'll figure it out once we get to this.
One day we'll figure out who Pettey's favorite team was growing up. They got their ass. All I know is they got their asses kicked a lot, and so I'm a loyal SOB. And then finally, the one that I didn't get the degree from.
He gets so fired up he gets so fired up whenever we talk about Eli. Eli is like a no touch for me. If I say Eli, you sons of guns, Eli's a Hall of Famer. He's the greatest. Hey, come on. Eli is about like daggone Belichick. Dude.
Smoke, I have warned you that I'm like, if we're going to talk Eli, I'm not rational. So you're about to argue with an irrational human when it comes to Eli Manning.
I just throw my hand up and walk away and say, yep. I don't have a problem if you say he's a Hall of Famer, but there's a whole lot of quarterbacks going in there as well, too. All the average goes right in with Eli.
Well, look, before we get to Ole Miss, before we get to Bama, which I think, man, my heart is, you talk about, I'm going to sound more like a homer when we get to that tide, I think, because the more I look at Alabama's team and roster of what's going on now, and if they can answer the questions we're going to get to, I think Alabama, look, man, don't write them off because of 1 year. They're still damn Alabama, and I think they may be a team to really watch out for. But first, like I said, let's go up to Ozarks. Yes, Ozark is a great show. Rest in peace, Beth. Ruth. Beth's the damn.
Never watched the show. Keep going.
You never watched Ozark? Oh, that's a damn good show.
Listen, man, is it violence in there?
Yes.
Drugs?
Not really.
Yeah. Not interested. No mobsters. No thank you.
Well, there's the Mexican mob is kind of, they're cleaning money for the cartel, so they have to go to the Ozarks and hide because they're gonna die, and they're dealing with the Mexican target. Yeah, it's dude.
I just fell asleep. I'm trying to wake up.
You not like mob stuff? Is that you're not into that?
Oh, I am, but I mean,
it's no Peaky Blinders, but Ozark solid show. You watch Peaky Blinders?
I've Moonlight every now and then.
That's one of the top 3 shows of all time. But
no doubt about it. So listen, let's get to our guy Sam Pittman. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Well,
the first position that we got to talk about, and I think a lot of SEC fans by the end of the year might step back and be like, "Whoa, this might be one of the best this year's class of quarterbacks and quarterback play in SEC history." Young, talented guys from last year, they got on the field, played well, and you're going to see all of those guys this year as second-year starters and some third-year starters. But Taylon Green, I'm telling you, if you don't know the name and you're just an Arkansas, if you're just an Arkansas fan, you know who he is. But if you're just trying to throw away players, if you throw this guy away, you ask anyone in the SEC how talented this young man is a thrower and as a runner.
And I think a lot of people slept on him because he got injured. And so as the season went on, he kind of was up and down due to the injury, but the kid kept playing. But what you
big
don't
man, Pettey, 6'6", 230. That's a grown man, bro.
And not only that, he's got one of the secret weapons in college football. One of the best moves that Sam Pittman made in the offseason was going and bringing back Bobby Petrino. Say what you will about him.
He came in just like Bobby did in Atlanta. Snuck out. He snuck. No, listen, stop. I said Atlanta. I ain't said nothing about no motorcycles, man. Cut it out. Nah, see, there you go. I'm just saying, just a sneaky move of getting them back in there. But keep going.
Well, look, but you're right. You bring in Petrino, who nobody really talked about it, and then you look, and Petrino's back on the sideline of Arkansas. He's got this Taylor Green kid, and their offense is kind of humming, and again, until he got injured. But look, they brought in a big wide receiver from Stanford who looked good, the Sissy kid. I really like him, and Omega Blake from South Carolina. Going to have some weapons around him. It's just the problem for Arkansas, and it's weird because they're usually one of those SEC teams that kind of bring your lunch pail defense. They've lost so much defensively, man. And it seems like they're one of the teams that's getting picked apart in the portal. They've got guys, defensive backs heading to Ole Miss or everywhere else, but they do have a pair of Georgia linebackers, transfers at linebacker, and Sorey and Singletary. So, I mean, look, you bringing in Georgia kids, it's like bringing in Alabama kids. They didn't start there, but they could probably start for you and make you better. So, I don't know, man. Can this save?
You know what, Pettey? Shout out to Travis Williams, the defensive coordinator, old Auburn linebacker, very good teacher of the game. Kids love to play for him. Outstanding recruiter. I've gone up head-to-head against him. He's won some. I've won some. Hell of a recruiter. Damn good defensive mind. And one of the young, talented coaches in the SEC. And then when you go to the defensive backfield, Marcus Woodson. I've been knowing Wood since daggone. We started coaching. We might be the same age. I was at the Citadel coaching. And he was at Charleston Southern.
Oh, Charleston Southern. Okay.
Bro. Elite recruiter. Great mentor to young men. And a wonderful technician in terms of teaching the art of playing in the secondary. They have two rock stars on that defense, and that's why people are plucking them away from them. And again, I know people say, well, if they were so good, why can't they keep them? Listen, man, money talks and BS walks, and that's just the nature of the game right now.
Yeah.
And there's no loyalty when you don't understand the need of another human being.
Yeah.
And that's how we got to look at this era. So shout out to those two guys, T-Will and my man Marcus Woodson, man.
And Arkansas
hell of coaches.
They seem to be that program when you sleep on them that they come up and bite you. And again, that team seems to love Pittman. I like Pittman. He seems to be one of the guys you just kind of like. And with Petrino in that offense, watch out, man. They could be sneaky.
Yeah, my question is, everyone wants to say fire Sam. Like, okay, and there will be people lined up ready for Sam Pittman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone that was rolling with any type of offensive line play when Pittman was at North Carolina. 5-5, all those guys played in the NFL. Tennessee, go look at what he did. Georgia, there's a reason why Nick wanted to go get him, and he turned Nick down and said, no. Like, just an elite person. I mean, he's just in a tough situation at Arkansas. I mean, if you're at Arkansas and you think that you're going to get in the playoffs, it's just one of those programs that's just good. Every now and then can be really, really good, but afford who you can afford to be.
That's right. And speaking of, man, kind of in that same plane, but someone who seems to be really getting a lot of juice out of the squeeze. And this is a program that gets kind of ignored in the SEC, which is kind of dumb considering they've been to the SEC championship several times. But I ask this, is Drinkwitz one of the more underrated coaches in college football at Missouri? Smoke.
Absolutely. I mean, from keeping talent like Luther Burden at home, Williams Newary, a kid that was a 5-star that he kept there, but he eventually transferred out. But just winning, like, how many games? They won, 9 games last year?
On 9 with their quarterback that was, Brady Cook was broken halfway.
The year before that, they were 10-game winner. So you're talking about 19 games in 2 years. This is Missouri. You know what I mean? And they've figured it out in terms of building their roster and doing a pretty good job of retaining their good players and keeping their real good high school players and local players at home. It's just like you said, when you get into the weeds of it and you got to start battling with teams with resources. When I say resources, that means pockets are really, really deep. Like there ain't no ants on them. But when you get drink players, they go on a few good runs. I think that Missouri can be one of those teams that sneak up in there. And in November, when you're looking around, you're like, hey, who are they? Missouri. Yeah. Matter of fact, we shot them. We cost them one game. They won 9 in the regular season. They won their bowl game. They were 5-3 in the SEC. That's big time.
Yeah. And look, that day in Tuscaloosa, they didn't have their quarterback. They didn't have a prayer.
Listen, every now and then it happens, bro.
Yeah.
It happens. But
this will be a good year, a very interesting year. You lose Brady Cook. You lose, like you said, Luther Burden. You lose Theo Weiss. You lose your running back and Marcus Carroll. But then you replace him with the Pribula kid from Penn State at quarterback. You go get Ahmad Hardy. He's from La Monroe, but many considered him the best running back in the transfer portal.
You get Kevin Coleman Jr. from Mississippi State.
Yes.
Very, very sneaky good thing right there. Now, Drink, you snuck that one in on a lot of people, but not Old Smoke.
Well, for all the credit, schools like Texas Tech, Ole Miss, whoever you want to name for the portal, man, Missouri's right there with them as far as navigating the portal and bringing in players. You brought up in our talks, Damon Wilson on the edge. That kid's going to be a problem for folks.
And I mean, if you know that right tackle that got drafted in the NFL pretty early, Maboo? Yeah. Guess where he came from? Missouri. Heck of a job. It's one of those teams that you look around at one of those schools, you're like, dang, they won 10 again?
Yeah.
Players, yeah. Developing, yeah. Oh, they're there in October? Yeah, they're there. Hats off to my man Drink, man. Hell of a job of just affording who you can afford to be and getting the right players, hitting the portal with good intention, doing a very good job in high school, maintaining and retaining good in-state players, and just going nationally after who they can afford.
Before we get to our Texas buddies in here, Bevo's bodyguard, who will be second place in to Texas. So, I mean, we've locked Texas in at number 1, Smoke. Who is number 2 next to the Mighty Horns? Which I agree with him. I think Texas is probably going to win the league.
Texas is going to win it. Yeah, if you look at it, I would say Bama.
I was going to say I would probably say Bama right now.
Bama? Because it ain't Tennessee.
No, that's not right. In Georgia. Don't believe in them.
Georgia got whoever I got to know who their quarterback is, and I got to know who they're throwing the ball to.
Don't believe in LSU's defense.
I believe in LSU's defense. I don't believe in Brian Kelly getting them off early in the season against Clemson. And I think if you go up to Clemson and you take an L early, and he's been doing that in the last 3 years, I think that's when you start that roller coaster ride. And once you start going in one direction early and you have a bunch of import players come in that don't understand your culture, that's probably the most negative thing that you can face in this era of NIL. Because you don't have that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 cultural guys that's been with you through the thick and the thin. And most of these guys that are going from school to school, man, they're just hired hands. And when you're a hired hand, you're only there for a reason, to win. You're not there to lose. You're not there for morale. And I'm not saying anything about their mental toughness, but that's just a part of when you go into a locker room and you only been there for 4 or 5 months, you don't understand the entire culture. You don't understand what LSU football is about. So
that's the one, man. There's a few. And then the next one, a lot of people will say, well, they lost Jaxson Dart. I think the bigger loss for the next team we're going to be talking about is Ole Miss's defensive line. That was the game changer for Ole Miss last year. When
depth in the defensive line.
The question was, would you get Walter Nolan that fell asleep at practice at Texas A&M, or the guy that showed up half the time? Well, they got the guy that showed up half the time, all the time. And then you added that with
first round Walter Nolan.
Yeah, it got him in the first. His play this year, if you wondered if the motor was on, they don't draft him where they draft him if those questions weren't answered. But then you got Princely Umami Alien, who went in the 3rd round, who had 10 sacks. J.J. Pegues, who was just an unbelievable plug at defensive tackle. Then Ivy, who went in unrestricted free agency. So as much Trey Amos, who's first round cornerback. Look, he ended up dropping to the 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, but first round talent. but he slipped a little bit. But again, a day two draft pick.
Yeah,
either way, top 96 players.
So for all the hoopla that's been made at Dart, we've talked about Dart a lot on the show. I think the question for Ole Miss is, can you replace that defense to keep you playing with teams like Georgia? They don't play Alabama.
Well, they're bringing Princewell. Can Princewell replace Prince Lee?
I think Princewell might be Prince B to Prince Lee. You like that, right?
I like that. That was good.
Now, Deshaun Womack, the LSU kid, now he comes in with the Walter Nolan. If his motor's on, he's a top flight edge rusher.
Yeah.
You've now got a dude that changes your defensive line.
He's a kid that I recruited when I was general manager at Maryland. He's a St. Francis kid, so he's a DMV kid. Mom is from the family is from Aliquippa, PA, the Pittsburgh area. So I mean, all the intangibles are there. The raw athleticism, skill set, get off, bend. But like you said, at some point, this is school number 2. And the last place that you were at, you played some. But dogs versus dogs, other dogs bite other dogs in the ass. They don't tuck their tails and run. So we have to see is he's going to bite somebody in the ass, or is he going to try to find somewhere else and go? Hell of a ball player, good person, solid individual, but at some point, like this is where you stand up and say, hey, listen, if they can get Walter Nolan right, and that's again, everybody want to knock Pete Golden. Pete did a hell of a job over there as defensive coordinator for Ole Miss.
He did.
And the secret sauce, and I'll say it again, my buddy, my friend, damn good defensive back coach, Wes Neighbors.
Great coach.
Listen, what he did to the secondary, the safeties when I was at Maryland, Dante Trader, right, and Bo Braid, both NFL football players. When I got there, that wasn't the case. But just Wes working with those guys, just empowering them, giving them nothing but pure confidence, and just working on their skill set daily, you just saw those guys grow. And
well, he's got his hands full because that's the one coming out of the spring. And look, that's where Ole Miss, they're young there. And I talk about the defensive line and who they got to replace, but they did something they normally don't do in recruiting and signed 3 blue trips in 1 year in Cam Franklin, Jeffrey Rush, and William Eccles. But they're still young.
They also got a sneaky good player out of Clemson. Snuck out. Usually Coach Sweeney does not lose.
Talking about the linebacker.
I'm talking about the cornerback from your back.
The corner.
Tavon Fagan.
Well, see that the Fagan kid, and that's what I was going to get at.
Now his family, so watch your mouth now, Petty. Don't crush him.
No,
that's out of Mike Fagan's son. That's nephew.
Oh no, I'm not going to
Mike Fagan that played at Alabama.
Coming out of spring, Kiffin said the secondary is a weak spot. I got to go fix it, and he immediately went and got the Fagan kid. Tell me about him. Can he play?
Listen, so I'm gonna be biased, but I'm gonna be truthful. Talented, all get out. No, Daddy was a player.
Yeah,
Michael Fagan, but it's Lil Mike. So Lil Mike, but Tay ain't Lil. Tay 6-footer.
Yeah,
that ball skills, run. Daddy done taught him how to play. He's just one of those kids that just had to get out of, just find somewhere new, find a new home, find something fresh. But he's a Tampa kid, man. Right in your backyard.
Right in my backyard.
Yeah.
I saw the transfer.
But he's a good football player, and he's the type of kid that can't see what they did last year with Trey Amos.
That's what can he do?
Very good skill set to fit into that role and develop into a very good NFL type talent player. Now you just got to match mindset with skill set, maturity, and grow. Get coached up. Like I said, dogs bite other dogs in the ass. He got dog in him because daddy a dog, son gonna be a dog. Apple trees produce apples.
And I think that's a great point and a good way to finish Ole Miss. They play that game of roulette every year. They go get the Walter Nolans. Will he sign up this year? It's Deshaun. It's Deshaun Watson. Is he going to be that guy? We'll see. If so, Ole Miss can keep continuing to play with the big guys. But we're going to get to the one that I do.
They've done a hell of a job again in the entire portal, like just addressing needs. Ole Miss has done a damn good job.
Well, and
they're one of the few that can actually balance the recruiting side in high school and get what they need to get, but supplement a lot of their roster through the transfer portal. And like I said, last year they hit. But the only thing now, Petty, and I know you're one of those big-time money donors, you've been dropping off big bags to those guys. At some point, you got to start winning meaningful games.
Well, and it's not, and when you say meaningful, people are going to be like, well, they beat Georgia. That was the best team. But then the meaningful game was the one that got you in the playoffs that you lost in Gainesville.
There you go.
Those are the meaningful games, the one that you can't overlook because great programs take care of them. And that, but hey, one more point, we didn't talk on this side of the ball and you don't really think about it with Lane, but you said a minute ago, and I agree with you, Smoke, this was considered a historically bad quarterback class this year in the SEC. And in 1 year, I think we're about to see it flip with the young talent that could be historically good with the Arch
young
Manning,
guns, man.
The DJ Lagways, the Lenore Sellers. Nussmeier's an old gun, but he's going to be one of the top in the league.
Marcel Reed at A&M. Taylor Green.
Your boy at Oklahoma, Mateer.
John Mateer.
And then at Ole Miss, Austin Simmons.
The lefty.
You said I'll light up.
Did you mention my guy, Garrett Nussmeier?
I did. I said, no, he's the old hat.
In the name that we always forget. Are we forgetting the real deal still? Diego Pavia?
We did leave out the real deal, Diego. Don't sleep on that scrappy bastard.
I'm just saying, like, it's like we do this. Oh yeah, but it's like, hold on, and then you didn't throw in Arch.
Oh, I said Arch. I'm not going to let Arch Manning, large gap than everyone. What do you think about that, Smoke?
What does that mean?
I'll be honest. You watch out at the end of the year. If the kid's what people think he's going to be, Austin Simmons' name is going to be in that top quarterback list. That kid's a baller.
Listen, I'm telling you, like he already graduated. He's a guy that reclassed twice.
He ain't even started a game and he's graduated college.
He reclassed twice.
How do you do
that? Pops is on it. There's a system. Like, he got to get it. And he's straight football. Did you hear his
dad's quote?
Huh?
Did you hear his dad's quote?
What was
his dad might have a little Earl Woods in him. Well, they were asking about.
Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. What do you mean, Earl Woods?
Oh, like there ain't no playing. This is life is serious shit.
But you know what, Petty? For every Earl Woods, for every Joe Jackson, for every Mr. Williams, for every LeVar Ball, for every Archie Manning, right?
Oh,
all we're getting are just superstars. For every Deion Sanders. I mean, sometimes like everyone, they were told what to do.
Oh, it was a quote that got my attention. Like, oh, this is one of those dudes. His dad said something about the holidays. He said, Christmas, we practice on Christmas. We practice on Easter. I don't care about Christmas. I don't care about Easter. I care about business. I was like, he said, I took my son out of some of those the reason he graduated at 16 from high school, because he didn't need those stupid classes. I put him in classes he need. And when he got those, I got him college classes to take because he had time. Oh, he's different. He's got the mindset, man. That's why this kid
to be different, you got to do different. You got to think different. If you want to be common, do common things.
That's right.
If you want to be uncommon, you have to do the things that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you enjoy doing it. That's discipline. Doing the things that you hate in a manner you love. And when you get that step and you're there and you're the top 5 pick and you're the top 3 pick and you're an NFL draft pick, and everybody starts saying, oh, well, he's not that. You don't understand how much time and effort that these young people put in just to get to that. So listen, for all the parents that's doing the extra, and all the athletes that are doing the extra stuff, man, shout out to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't force my kids to do extra stuff. They got to come tell me. But when they say extra, oh, we go in.
That's what when they tell
personality athletes usually make it.
Then you sign it up. No, you're absolutely right. When you hear stuff like that, the Earl Woods comment wasn't. Look, people can think of it as
I love the Earl. Like Earl produced Tiger.
Earl produced the greatest golfer to ever walk on the planet. So,
what about Mr. Williams with Serena and Venus?
Good Lord! Again,
what about
a female
Joe Jackson
that they
with
started
Jackson 5
arguing
and Michael
was
Jackson?
Good enough to beat some of the best guys.
What about LeVar Ball?
A bunch of boys that can play.
That can play. How many of us can produce top
5,
top
3?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, so some of us might not like how they're doing it, but yeah, we can't argue with the results for the most part.
No. So I'm on red alert about the Simmons kid. I think he's going to end up being the best that Kiffin's ever got to work with, and that can be
damn. So you're saying he's going to be top 20 draft pick? Because Dart just went. What did Dart go? 30?
23, 24,
23.
25?
Okay,
yeah, something like that. 23, 25. I should.
Okay.
I think the kid ends up. I don't. But like
he's talented as hell.
You can't do this.
Hey, man, say it with your chest.
Barring injury and barring all the freak shit that happens in sports that can happen to you, the kid plays a healthy college career. He'll be a top 15 draft pick.
I wouldn't fight you on that. And I'm telling you again, this might be the most talented group of quarterback play in one time in the SEC
and
history.
And there's one that could see his name on the list stat-wise with everyone we've mentioned that we haven't mentioned yet, and that's one Ty Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke. I think Ty Simpson is going to shock some people this year. And look, man, we're not getting.
So you think he wins the job?
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
It's his job. I don't think he wins the job. I think he's won the job.
Nice.
I don't think that's look, I think he's got more weapons at his disposal. Now what's funny is people jumped your ass when you said, man, I'm sorry, guys, the skill position players right now are mid. And
they went re-up, huh?
We got K-Law who went to Kentucky, and we got this that went to there, and Otis.
How about Isaiah Bond that went undrafted? Keep going.
Yeah. But now I honestly believe Isaiah Horton he's a legit dude. Bernard is you said it, he's a man
that's better than I thought.
Opportunities, and you saw him flash at the end of the year. What like when? Come on,
Petty. Just speaking of Jeremy Bernard, seeing him in person, he plays bigger, faster, and make tough competitive catches. He plays as strong as an Anquan Bolden.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I ain't saying that he Quan. I'm just saying
but that type of
strength with the ball in his hand, like Anquan Hines Ward, just grown man, strong hands, boxed out little DB, snatch the ball, get out of my way. Now he ain't the fleetest of foot, but he's fast enough, and he plays bigger than the 6'1" frame because he's built like a grown ass man, strong. There's a reason why he go across the middle and get lit up and make those catches. If I didn't see it in real life, I was like, no. Saw it in practice. Plays bigger, faster, and stronger, and I give him credit. I'm sorry that I cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good.
You said wide receiver. Keep on going with Latsier Brooks and Rico Scott.
Latsier Brooks and Rico Scott are dudes. Rico Scott was
How about Derek Meadows?
But then you got a Latsier Brooks that's maybe a better talent in the same side as Horton. It's... Woo!
Latsier might be the best one down there. And you know a name that you did not mention yet? You didn't mention Ryan Williams.
Oh, I don't
look at no. I'm just saying.
I didn't even mention. Yeah,
that's not a knock. That's saying like this is the deepest that we've seen it since the ride outs.
Yeah, in
terms of talent. Yeah. And no, Petty and I aren't saying that they are the ride outs. At least I'm not saying it. He didn't say it, but. Talent. In terms of just talent from top to bottom, yeah, this is deep. When is Zimbabwe gonna play?
We're gonna get to your question, Tan. I got it in there. I don't know, man. That seems to be. Is he offense, defense, or is he out there?
Does he play?
I don't know because I think he got caught in all this stuff. Meanwhile, he wasn't paying attention. There's some dudes in that secondary that are hungry. And then they added some more hungry dudes. And that brings my question, Smoke. And look, I think everybody looks at last year and we're so quick to write off. Bama lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Vanderbilt. They're not. Saban's gone. They're gettable. This isn't Bama anymore. We can get these guys. And I'm like, well, you got a new coach dealing with a lot of turmoil in the 1 year after wake of the greatest coach of all time. And you expected what? And so I I hear all that noise and I get caught up in it at
Right.
times. But the more I look at this team, and this Texas fan wanted to know who the second best team in the SEC,
Bama.
the more I look at the rest of the SEC, I'm not sold that Alabama's not the second best team in the SEC or the best next to Texas right now. And the question is, and it's not offense. I think the offense is going to get it done. Can the defense take the next step in that front seven?
So, Pat, you know what? And even I myself probably was too hard on Coach DeBoer from last year. Not probably, I was. If I just gave you just a random Jeopardy question, who is the winningest coach in their first year in Alabama football history? First year wins.
I'm just going to play along.
Play along. Kellen DeBoer.
Yeah.
The man won 9 games.
Yeah.
The coach before that, I think it was Coach Curry that had 8.
Curry was the answer prior. Won 8.
That it won 8. So as much as we're crushing it, we got to understand that when you lose a head coach, if it's through retirement, fire, you're not the same team. And most of the time, if you had the best that was in the Final Four, the likelihood of you ending up in the Final Four being better than you were the year before, very unlikely. But they did beat Georgia, didn't they?
They did. I think Southern Red makes a good point right here. It's not just we're not Bama anymore. The SEC isn't what it's been. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. No, it's not. But I think Bama's still better than
what do we mean? I think the SEC is actually better.
Ooh.
Just because it's competitive.
It's more balanced.
Like, and what's her name? Southern Red. I'm not saying that when Nick Saban had a stronghold on the SEC, it was Nick. A year every now you have LSU that's sprinkled in there. You know, when Kirby left, Georgia in there. But you walked away and said, "Oh yeah, Nick and the boys." Now you're saying, "Well, heck, Missouri just won 10. You got Lenore Sellers in Beamer and Dylan Stewart
right there
in Columbia, South Carolina. You got Drinking the boys over there in Missouri, Columbia, Missouri. You have Sark and the crew down there at Texas. You have Elko looking around the corner saying, "Hey,
we got money.
Hey guys, did you guys forget about me?
I got a quarterback.
I got a quarterback." You got BK that says, "Hey, I'm ponying up some of my money. I got the best quarterback in the SEC. I just retooled my receiving core. O-line is young but good enough. I just went ahead and went all in on my defensive ends, edge rushers, linebackers, and the secondary, speaking of LSU. And like, what's up? I went out and got Kyle Williams as my D-line coach. I lost Bo, but I got Kyle. Kyle's going to be a darn good defensive line coach too. Shout out to Kyle Williams. When I see you in person, bro, we got words because you said you were never going to coach. I ain't going to be like y'all. I'm going to go home and hang out. Y'all are crazy.
Famous last, right?
You're just like us.
Famous last.
Just like us.
Well,
but yeah, just getting back to Bama, I mean, you look at them, O-line wise, you got to say good enough. Quarterback play, I think at some point you're going to see Keelan Russell, at some point get some play. I'd love to go all in on Ty, but Keelan Russell is so talented. You know, like he's one of those guys, when you walk out to the field and there's everybody. Hey, that guy. And you just see that one guy walk out and there's a few plays and you're like, oh, he ain't like everybody else. That's a feel that you get with him. And he's one of those young gunners that in the next few years is going to throw his name into that, you know? So offensively, they should be better. Once they figured out the dog, the monkeys, the moons, the jacks, the rabbits, the wolves, and the bandits, and the farm animals that are playing on defense.
Jack.
All these animals, these different names, the jacks, the bandits, the tigers, I don't know what else is out there. The husky.
That's it, though. Whatever their name is, the defensive front seven has to take the next step for this program.
Because the secondary is going to be like that.
It's going to be the secondary is having to, like, you've got dogs fighting. Like, I'm the most intriguing thing is how that shakes out the secondary rotation to me, because there's so much talent. I want to see who wins out of that shit, because whoever wins out, you can rest assured the secondary is okay. But what I mean,
right now, you got to say Jackson and Brown are going to start, because
start at corners.
At corner, but you got Calhoun. You got my young gunner, Dejon Lee.
Oh, Dejon Lee, man, you're 6'4".
Yeah, man. I mean, Sab is going to have to work back off of that injury, right? But you got young Dre Kirkpatrick Jr.,
who's
been making plays. You got Ivan Taylor, son of the Pittsburgh Steelers' great cornerback, Ike Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And I know everybody's favorite,
Hubbard.
How did I know?
Because I knew you were going to say that. Because everybody fell in love with the kid.
No, he's a good player. Listen,
everybody falls in love with Vinny Sinceri, Smoke.
Vinny Sinceri is a hell of a football player.
Well, so is Hubbard. I think because I feel like there were so many comparisons. They all like.
Yeah, listen. Take the goggles off, man. They're only saying that because they're both white safeties.
Yeah, it's the lunch.
Yeah, other than that, like, come on, bro.
It's the great look. No, I'm not taking. It's the great white safety. That's why everybody loves him, because you don't see safeties that are white play good football.
Glenn Teague, I agree with you. That front seven might be hungry, but hungry don't always last. Everyone's always saying hungry. Man. Hungry don't mean that they're going to sit.
Overton and Rusall become the guys that can finish at the quarterback. They got there last year, but they didn't finish. Does Smith and Keenan take the next step in the middle? Does Jefferson become that guy at linebacker? Does Lawson made great plays at time, athletic interception?
He got to bounce back coming off an injury, bro.
He has the injury, and his
serious injury.
You want to go back to the game that everybody talks about, Vanderbilt. The linebackers were lost that game with their eyes. That's something that's got to get better. You look, man, these guys, you look at them and they on the hoof, they look like what you want to see in a linebacker. 6'2".
Yeah, we've heard about Yanzi Pierre all these years. At some point, he got to show up and play.
No, we know that, Kanafi. It's just, look, man, there's certain players you fall in, like, it is what it is.
Plus, what did that guy say?
Plus, I just like Hubbard, nothing to do with his color. Look,
no, we're not saying that. I'm just saying the reason why everybody says but, stop saying but. They're good effing football players, bro.
It's like Scatabo. It's the whole thing. Look, man.
Bro, they're good players. Throw that out the window. Hey, get my guy Glenn Teague up, man. He always has some questions.
He got
a quick question for me.
Smoke got a question. The line is not bad. Is it this one? Hold on. Smoke, I have a question.
Yep. It says Smoke, I have a question. Yep. Yo,
Smoke, I have a question. Is the line not, sorry, I was pulling. Is it not better?
No, that's it right there.
Is it time to blame Freddie?
Listen, that's my brother, and you know how I feel about my guys. But at some point, you have to take the truth serum. And Freddie is a heck of a recruiter, darn good D-line coach, developer of men. But when that rubber hits the road, we have to see better defensive line play and consistent defensive line play, because these are your guys. These are the guys that you've handpicked. These are the guys that you recruited. These are the guys that you're developing. You and Courtney Morgan are doing a good job of recruiting and getting some real good players. So it's time now that we need to see the depth, and we need to see the old version of Alabama defensive line. When I say that, I mean rotating 4, 5, 6 guys that you have in waves that aren't getting worn down, that teams aren't running the ball straight down our throats. And again, there are times that, again, I watch a lot of ball just like you do, Glenn, that I'm still trying to figure out like what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. So it's a combination of the coordinator, Freddie, of getting this all lined up. But whenever I coach, I was the sole answer, first, final, and last answer for all of my players that play, because they're a direct reflection of me. So yes, whoever's coaching the defense line, which is Freddie, you got to get it to him, good or bad.
Let me follow up Glenn's question that's in line with this, Smoke. not everybody's fit for certain. You find out, hey, I'm better at certain roles, and you learn that in your coaching career.
Mm-hmm.
And with the advent of the importance of the GM and what we know about Freddie, is that it almost seems like the GM role is kind of Freddie would be a good fit for it. Am I crazy?
No. I wouldn't say that. I think Freddie can coach the X's and O's and the technical part of the defensive line. I just think some of us at times, like, we want to believe that there's still the Bo Davises and the Chris Rump and all the really good defensive line coaches that came from Bama. Like, when somebody just falls off or the D-line doesn't play well, automatically he can't coach. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying with time and talent, you have to start producing at a high level. Mm. And Freddie can recruit it.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie can develop it. We've seen him coach like a good group, but we're just saying that we need to see more out of everybody up front to get back to where Bama fans want to see Alabama football and how we want to see Alabama football being played.
Fair enough.
And Glenn, bro, I love him too. That's a great daggone question. And you know me, bro. We family, so we ain't ducking none of the smoke and all the questions you got to answer.
No, not hate.
Freddie got to do it. Just like if I was coaching it and somebody said, "Hey, you got to do it." Jay Jones, that's my brother, but he got the safeties. He better get with it. If not, then I'm gonna be on his neck too. You got to hold your good friends and your brothers accountable when they're in a situation, and don't be biased to them and don't make it up. The same way that we can talk about other coaches and other position groups if they're not at Bama, we still have to be honest with what we see, regardless if it's friends or family or not. And Freddie, I love him like a brother. We were just hanging out when I was down in T-Town. But there's a brand of football that he knows that needs to get played, and there's a brand of football that he's coaching it like that right now. We just didn't see what we needed to see last year consistently enough. We got to go back to that old school of those guys playing in waves, playing with more attitude, playing with more point of attack strength. Right there, develop a new line of scrimmage and anchoring down and being that defensive line that we know of Alabama football.
And if they do that, I won't be shocked to see Texas and Alabama playing in that SEC championship. All right, Smoke, we got a couple of questions before we get to this. Oh, were you about to? You got one?
No, we're good. We're good.
Kanafi, maybe controversial question. Did Alabama waste Milroe's talent with the coordinators they've got? Why or why not?
I think that we got as much as we could have gotten out of Jalen Milroe. Yeah, I don't know if I don't see Milroe in last year's team winning the national championship. And the year before that, Michigan was a better team.
Well, let me ask this, though, and I think this let me spin it this way. If you put Milroe in, say, a Dan Mullen type system, would he have fared better results?
Yeah, you put Milroe in a Dan Mullen system, I don't think Milroe gets drafted in the NFL because you're not showcasing his skill set. You see what I'm saying? I think
Mullen did with Dak. I mean,
Dak got drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah, true.
And Dak had a daggone good college career.
Yeah.
I just think that when you have a runner and you make him a runner consistently, you don't develop the other side of that skill set, which is passing. And I think there was a combination of coordinator and Jalen Milroe not meshing at the right time in order to get the high level play with, it's not like he had a ton of receivers. And it's not like he was making his receivers better. So it was just a miss. It never aligned properly.
I feel like it was maybe not the best. I do feel like it may have been a little square peg round hole. But that's what happens when you get a new coach and that's the hand you're dealt. You get these players and you're trying to make the best of what you got. And we'll never know. But the thing is, Jalen he's going to get a shot in the NFL. Which
I got drafted in the 3rd round. He'll have a shot to start. In his 2 seasons of starting, he went to the playoffs one year and won 9 games at the the year after.
Pretty damn good career.
I would say.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'll take it.
Tough as nails. Why won't anyone answer this question? Why didn't the board pull Milroe for Simpson after the blowout in Norman, Oklahoma?
All right. So, guys, tough as nails. Like, Ty Simpson is still trying to beat out a true freshman as a starting quarterback. So, this take a second, just take that in, breathe that in, soak it in. Jalen Milroe was a 3rd-round pick. So, if you can't blow out a freshman, care how talented that you are, out of the box, I'm pretty sure he wasn't beating Jalen Milroe out in a one-on-one competition. It's not like the job was handed to Jalen Milroe.
Nope.
When a new coach comes in, it's open market for everybody.
All right, Smoke. Before we hit this last topic, our Texas fan, Bevo's bodyguard, wants to know, who are the rideouts? You want to educate him?
Oh, Petty, I think you can educate him. Because I think Bevo just likes irritating our nerves. I think the rideouts, formed by Michael Locksley, head coach at the University of Maryland, DMV zone, we're going to go with Waddle, Judy, Smitty, Ruggs, Ridley.
Okay. Ridley?
Yeah. Are we gonna put the 5 in there, or you just want to put the 4 in there?
Well, I didn't know if that rolled into the Mechie group too.
No, I think the rideouts, that was them. The year that the 2019 crew.
There you go.
And if Calvin wasn't in that 2019 crew, I apologize, but
I don't.
That's that whole and it was like anyone that came in that Mike Locksley era of wide receivers, from C. Rid to Ruggs, Judy, Smitty, Waddle, all the guys that got drafted in the first round, that are all NFL big money guys and players.
Yeah. And that's, look, and when people were talking, when getting on you last year, talking about that, like, I mean, it's not like we hadn't seen what it looks like and know exactly what a room full of talent looks like. We'd just seen it. So we know the difference in.
Yeah, and the likelihood of getting that again, like, it's unlikely. NFL rookie camp.
NFL rookie camp, man, it was this week, and reports are flying all over the place. Everybody's getting excited about their new young studs. Shiloh Sanders is down here in Tampa. Maybe he's the Sanders that should have gotten all the noise.
Knock it off. Keep going.
Hey,
listen, I am not going down that rabbit hole with you with an undrafted defensive back. I saw more Shiloh and what's Big Boy Watson, Desmond Watson, going through bags than anything. Did Tampa draft anybody? I
don't know. I guess not. I guess
I saw more about their undrafted guys. And you just got to remember, the era that we're in is all about social media, and who can capture that algorithm typically gets in.
I kind of like to know about our new receiver who we got out of Ohio State. Those generally tend to turn out pretty well. So I kind of like to know how that kid did. I hadn't heard peep about him.
No, and I didn't even know he was I didn't even know he practiced.
Yeah, well, he did.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
it was just a shallow practice.
Yeah. So honestly, my few years of working in the NFL, rookie camp is like,
what
you just want to see. Did we get it right with the first round, second round, third round? The other guy, let's see which one of these late round guys catches our eyes, and which one of the undrafted guys can we walk away and be like, whew. So this is where all the scouts come out and they're looking at their guys that they brought in
to see if they got it right. Is that what this is? Is that what we're doing here? That's good.
I'm telling you, that's all it is. You're like, whoo, man, that undrafted guy that's a height, weight, and speed guy. Got him right. But you know what? We didn't have this on, but you know who was not impressive?
Who?
When I saw that Mason Graham. And I hope that they're not. You didn't see him throwing up and then going through the bags and tripping and falling down? I'm telling you, man, whenever you draft a player that high, and I'm glad it was rookie minicamp and the vets weren't out there, because if the vets are out there, that's when the vets start looking at you as a general manager and be like, I don't know what y'all did, but he ain't it.
Oh, really?
Oh, but listen, that's one of the things that I always used to do. If I wanted to find about an offensive lineman, Kyle Williams or Marcel, big boy over my shoulder.
You go ask.
Absolutely. Except like Kyle would be like, man, y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. He ain't worth a damn.
Oh,
Or the year that we drafted my good man Cyrus Kwanjo, my DMV buddy, but then we drafted Chantrell Henderson in the 7th round. Kyle like, man, that 2nd round is gonna be okay, but hell of a job with that 7th round. I don't know where the hell y'all got him from. Really? Oh yeah, they'll tell you. The first day Sammy Watkins was on the field, you heard, ooh, whoa, damn, man. Like, he that one. Like, those vets will tell you. So
did they get excited when it's like, oh, hell, here we go?
The vets will tell you. But in rookie minicamp, you just want to see that first round. You don't want to see that first round on the ground. And I know that Andrew Berry and all those guys over there at Cleveland. Like, you didn't hear about Mason Graham throwing up and going through those bags and slipping and falling. My buddy sent me his walk-in when Mason Graham was walking into the facility. And all I heard was like his feet dragging on the ground. And I was like, ooh.
Ooh.
Like most of the time when you get a defensive lineman in the top 5, yeah, you see not big 99 over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
Oh yeah, they're
you're like, yo, that's him.
Yeah, Mario Williams.
You don't look like Mason looks more like a center than a defensive tackle. Just look at him. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's a good player. But when you take a top 5, that's over my shoulder. That's what a top 5 defensive lineman looks like. Yeah.
Well, who is making noise? Making noise. Did Abdul Carter put some unneeded pressure in the New York media eye on his back with this whole number fiasco?
That's embarrassing, man. I usually blame the elders, and the elders are the 50 on up group. See, right now we Pettey, how old are you? 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
Plus a few.
Yeah, you're one of them dudes that are afraid to tell your age. Whatever you
I'm 45. 45.
You like whenever you've seen a player like Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms play, and you understand their importance to the organization,
mm-hmm.
I blame the organization, whoever allowed him to even ask that question. Like he comes in like, hey, what number do you want? And I'm thinking about that 56. Somebody should have said, hey, listen, throw a flag, 27 timeout, throw the title towel, upside down title towel. Hold on. You got this thing all wrong. So, oh, yeah. No. Turn it around. Yeah, you can't get 56. 56 is off limits. Like you can't.
Title towel is not off limits. You can get that today at Whitwell Sports, 20% off if you give them the promo code standard and have that title towel in hand.
Tell them that Pettey sent you.
That's right.
But when if you go in the equipment room and they're like, hey man, what number are you thinking about? I'm thinking about 56. They're supposed to be like a.
But where's the Smoke Dixon in the organization? They're like, hey, Smoke, go get Young Buck. And you put your arm and say, Young Buck, look, I know you
tripping.
You got drafted 3rd. But
you tripping. Go get 0. Go get 5. Go get whatever number. You can get a 6 and you can get the 5, but you can't get the 5 and the 6 together. You can get the 65. But 5, 6, no bueno. This is the greatest football player maybe ever. Not the best outside linebacker, maybe in the conversation, the greatest player ever. So when that happens, you know what? I would do this. If I'm with the New York Giants, just to make sure that this never happens again, there should be like an alert button. So next time that somebody comes in and says, I want a retired number, they just hit it. And then the building just shuts down.
Well, I bet Jaxson
and the red light just goes off. And he'd be like, bro, don't ever do that again. And then he asked for Phil Simms' 11. Just because he thinks is as significant as the 11 at Penn State. Shout out to Penn State. Great school, great university. Phenomenal football player. I think Abdul Carter is a great football player in college. I think he's going to do well in the NFL, but you want you to be you don't even want to be mentioned with LT.
No.
On top of that, there's another great defensive lineman that played there.
Yeah,
he got after the quarterback as well too. Strahan.
He sure didn't ask for 92, did he? Come on, dude. No,
either way, that would have been blasphemous behavior. Like, come on.
Well, and
hit the button. Whoever the equipment man is, the equipment man needs to get his head checked too.
New York is like the biggest media cesspool in the country. Like the eye gets no hotter than New York City. And if you're the quarterback of their team, I'm assuming Jaxson Dart sitting there like, thank you for doing this. So nobody maybe it gives me a little bit of a break from these lunatics for a minute while I get my feet wet.
One of the best traits that you want in a person, forget football player, self-awareness. Self-awareness can help you survive for a long time. If you go into a building, and again, the only thing I would say for anyone that has a lot of self-confidence, great, but understand that it's self-confidence. So a lot of the stuff you keep to yourself. So if you think you're as good as whoever, use that as self-motivation, but don't go in. It's like going into Chicago Bulls and be like, yeah, I want 23. Huh? Again? You're supposed to be hit the button. Emergency. Get him out of this. Come on, bro. Shut up. It's embarrassing. Your dad should have helped you out.
Well, we've talked a lot of the crazy. There are some good stories coming out, and you talk about that integrity. One that's really making good headlines early is Ashton Jeanty at Las Vegas, man. I'm hearing good things to that kid. Is he gonna break some rotation early, or is he gonna have to wait his turn?
He better start. But Pettey, one of the biggest crock of crap are running backs in with no pads. I remember when this is 2016.
Hero Day
with my man Booby Dixon. Anthony Dixon, my big cuz.
Man, that dude's calf muscles were the size of basketballs. Man,
those guys used to run through you're not going to get hit, so it don't matter. Every running back looks great in OTAs. Ashton Jeanty's going to look like Barry Sanders, Shady McCoy. Listen, I don't get moved with little people, man. I can't stand little people. And he's a little person.
Well, what can we take away from this? One thing you did mention, look, not
don't take what you can take away is if you're first rounders and if they're defensive linemen, they look apart, great, but you can't really say anything. Just don't fall on the ground and don't embarrass yourself because, again, this is rookie camp. You just want to see, did you find a rookie tryout that can be in the 90 count to help you if you only had 88? What are the two guys out of the rookie tryouts that you can walk away and say, we got two? Other than that, man, it's bad. It's bad conversation to talk about how great they are getting out of rookie camp. I've seen a lot of players look really good,
like superstars.
Man, with no pads, receivers going up.
Yeah, what about my man McMillan? Bryce. I think people slept on how good Bryce progressed at the end of last year after getting benched. And man, he had no weapons to speak of, like a 75-year-old Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, a dude that couldn't catch.
Yeah, was he taking number 1 overall?
Yeah, he was first rounder. The McMillan kid.
No, I'm talking about Bryce Young.
Right.
Yeah. Who was Josh Allen's receivers last year? Keon Coleman can't do it, ain't it?
Is he not gonna? Speaking, man, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Is Keon not gonna be that? He's got so much
good,
raw talent.
Solid football player. But here's one thing: whenever quick little eval, like tidbit, if every single ball that you see a player catch as a receiver is a contested jump ball, and you have guys all around him, and he's going up and making contested catches, you can't live in the NFL your entire career without being able to run a route, create separation. Every catch is not going to have to. If every catch is contested, I ain't a huge fan of you. You got to be able to run, put foot in the ground, separate. And I know he separates with size, but every catch that you looked at for him at Florida State was contested. And then his hands were good, not great. So now you put him in the NFL with better corners, tighter windows. It's going to be hard to make. It's hard making a living when every catch is contested. And that's where you want to see, can T-Mac really separate, put his foot in the ground and separate, run a route tree, be a good route runner. You don't have to be great. You just have to be deceptive, coming in and out of your break, create separation at the top of the stem, little head movement, snap off, catch the ball firmly, and do something else with it. But I don't like those contested guys, man. And then another thing coming out of camp was my man Eric Bieniemy cussing out the running backs but if you here's the thing about running back coaches. They set up their drills, they take their times, they have a cone, they have a daggone agile bag. Don't step on the cones, don't kick over the cone, and stay off the agile bag. If you touch the cone, you're on the agile bag, you might be damn near cut.
Was the scat back before there were scat backs.
Yeah, man, and I mean even like Scatterbo, like watching his feet go through some drills.
Oh, God. Like, it's got to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, but again, he's a running back. Break tackles, make guys miss, score. So going through bags, some guys just don't look good going through them. And some guys look like a ballerina going through them and look great. But once you put the pads on, they slow down. Once you see a Brandon Spikes coming through there and try to knock your head off, you're going to cower down and bowl up like this and go down to the ground. But he looked real good going to the drills, coach. So right now it's drills and everyone looks great right now. Every team that's the thing. Every team has a chance to win the Super Bowl. That's what they're going to say. Oh, man, we look real good coming out of the draft. I love all our draft picks. They look great. Shador looked like a Hall of Famer. Dylan Gabriel looked like the next coming of the lefty. Let me see a great lefty. Steve Young. He looks like Steve Young. Shador looks like
and you told me.
I heard my guy Shady McCoy saying that Shador is the best one. I'm like, come on, bro. Out of rookie camp? This is rookie camp, man. A bunch of guys that aren't going to make the team, and you're basically having a elevated college practice. That's what rookie camp is, an elevated college practice. That's it. So if you're getting too much out of that, hey, man, good luck.
Well, you're the one that said you're starting to read the tea leaves that the Giants may be forcing their hand too early on their quarterback.
All I heard was, coaches, you guys really liked him. You know, he checked all of your boxes, and you guys said you wanted, so we went up and got him. You know, I probably would have said second round, but hey, whenever I hear that, all I know is, you know, when you go to the casino table, and the dealer does if I hear the GM tell me that it's a coaching deal, I'm like, oh.
I just think I would be the reason I would be shocked to see them force Dart in early is because you go get Russell, but then you don't just get Russell, then you get, you.
Hey man, I think that if they win 6 games, they'll be okay and get the young boy in at the end of the season, get him in 3 to 4 games and see what he looks like. There's no reason to roll him out early, but
I say you run the season with Wilson and Winston and play it as it may, and don't rush the kid.
You'll get fired doing that. I would if you came out there and you told me that you wanted to play football. I just traded up in the draft to go get Jaxson Dart, and I can't see him at least 3 games or 4 games, and we're out of contention. Yeah, I'm going to fire you just for saying that.
No, look, we saw the Giants. We saw it with Eli taking over for Warner. Warner played the first half of the season, and Eli, they're like, let's go with the rook.
Yeah, just give him a chance to suck. Everyone deserves a chance to suck. I mean, James. So what are you going to do? Win a championship with Jameis Winston? We ain't talking about that, Booby. We're talking about
I was about to say that's Booby Miles of Odessa Permian, which I read.
We're talking about Booby Dixon.
We're talking about Booby Dixon of Mississippi State.
The great Booby Dixon.
Actually, when you would drive to my dad's house, you would see the sign at Terry High School, home of Booby. Well, it said it had his name. It was
I don't know when he got that daggone name.
In Mississippi State.
In Mississippi, okay, yeah.
They were calling him Booby at State. For obvious reasons.
Man, Shady used to roast him. They used to be so fun.
He got the nickname, but look, I'm telling you, that dude had the biggest calf muscles any human I've ever seen.
Man, Booby, a dog, man. One of my favorites, bro.
He was a hell of a running back, man.
Good person, too.
Katie, you forgot about the late Ricky Henderson as the greatest baseball all-around player of all time.
You know what? I'm such a Ricky Henderson fan.
Me too.
My brother, his name is Tevin, and I call my brother Ricky just because I'm a Ricky Henderson nut. That's how much I love Ricky. So listen,
I've read Ricky's book. I freaking love Ricky.
Listen, I told you I have a brother. His name's Ricky. That's how much I love Ricky.
I mean, most leadoff home runs. I mean, he could steal a base. He could tell
Ricky's different. Ricky knows how to play Ricky, and Ricky knows how to steal the base. Does anybody know how to hit like Ricky? I mean, Ricky about to come home.
Ricky about to steal second.
Ricky about to steal second.
Real, I told you Ricky gonna steal second. God, that dude's so good. The best story ever, though, is the John Olerud story. I'm gonna tell that real quick. We'll get out of here.
Go ahead, tell it.
He was at. They got by the end of his year, every year he was on a new team. And so he was at Toronto, and I think it was Toronto to the Mets or either vice versa. So if I got that wrong, sorry. But he got traded with Olerud, and it's spring training the second year at the next year at the Mets. And they're warming up, and Ricky looks over at Olerud, and he's got that helmet. That was his distinguishable thing. He wore the helmet at first base. And Ricky said, "Hey, Ricky played with a dude last year that wore a helmet on first." And John Olerud looked at him and said, "A whole year." He said, "Ricky, that was me." Ricky was a damn man.
I mean, Ricky Ricky's his own person.
They had to, he wouldn't cash his checks. He would just hold on to him, and the team would finally have to tell him to cash the damn things. God,
you know one thing, he didn't go broke.
Ricky Henderson's book. Read Ricky Henderson's book. It's one of the greatest reads.
Ricky's my dude, man. Do you like the Cowboys trade for George Pickens?
Ooh.
I'm always going to say, whenever you have a problem and it's an uber talent, who's coaching them? And I learned that lesson from who taught me that lesson? David Culley. David Culley and I worked together with the Buffalo Bills. And David Culley was a receiver coach with Andy Reid all those years. And if there was a problem child, they could draft a Tyreek Hill and give him to David Culley. So I'm always saying, whenever you get into these buildings, when you have a talent like that needs mentoring and needs a strong person around them to make sure that they're doing what they have to do when they have to do it and they respect them, the talent is undoubtedly good. I just don't know where the desire is to be a professional. And if those things ever match up and get close, yeah, he is a problem. So I don't know if you're ever going to get the true value out of the player if the player doesn't want the true value out of himself. Pay him and see what he's not going to do, because he hasn't shown you anything yet.
Cowboys are year in and year out one of the most interesting sports experiments in major league, in professional sports. Don Parker, my favorite baseball player of all time, Reggie Jackson.
I dag on it. You know what? Did I ever tell you about my dirty Reggie Jackson story? I got a dirty Reggie Jackson signed baseball. 1 second. I'm going to grab it.
He played in a game at Sewell Thomas against Alabama, right? Oh.
Where is it?
Is that Reggie? Mr. October?
That's Mr. October.
You caught the third home run that night.
No, you see, it's a dirty Reggie Jackson ball. For real, that says Gerald, Reggie Jackson, Mr. October.
Oh, badass. Good stuff.
So I met Reggie when I was working in Charleston at the Citadel. We used to go to the Charleston River Dogs. I think that's AAA New York Yankees affiliate team.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we used to go out there, Stacia and we only had one, and my good friend JB and my daughter Juice at that time, and Reggie was in town, and our SID was like, Smoke, he knows that I'm a huge Reggie Jackson fan, and I went to school with Oscar Gamble's daughter, Sheena Gamble, so I knew OG, and I was like, dang, they played together, because OG, Sheena Gamble, matter of fact, was in our wedding, good friend. You know who OG is, right? Oscar Gamble.
Oh, yeah.
The Yankee that had the afro with the hat on. I might have his baseball card over there too.
Dude, I mean,
when Jay-Z say you can catch me in the Yankees hat and over the OG at the Yankees game, talking about Oscar Gamble. Either way, go downstairs in the dugout and I see, oh, you're Yankees guy. What you got? Is that Donnie?
That's Donnie, and that's the GOAT.
Who's that? Ooh,
Mickey
Mantle. Look at you trying to show me up, you bastard, you. So anyway, your story is not as good as mine. So get away. You didn't even meet him.
I did meet him. I was 4 years old and waited in line 4 hours at the Jaxson
Dart. Yeah, you sat there. You sat there like a peasant.
I was.
Please, Mr. Mantle.
I just saw an old white-haired dude sign my baseball.
Please sign my ball. I am a young player.
Someone said their favorite is Dale Murphy. All right, I got you, Dale Murphy, right here.
Oh, there you go. Listen, I'm not gonna go one up with
Lou Brock. I met him in Jackson at a baseball game.
How old were you? 2?
I was 12.
See, these guys don't know you. So either way, I go to look at you.
Griff.
You got that in an auction. You didn't meet Ken.
Ken I did not meet Griffey.
Your ball's not even dirty. It's not even a real ball.
No,
this is a real baseball. It's my dirty Reggie Jackson dirty ball story.
We're gonna have a baseball show.
You're not even letting me finish my story. Yeah, either way, so I go down and I meet him in a dugout, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, I just got to get an autograph from you." And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah, Smoke, come on." You heard what he called me? Smoke. Yeah, signed it. He said, "How do you want me to sign it?" I said, "You know what? You can sign it, Gerald." So he signed it, Gerald. Government. So he's like, "Man, just come back tomorrow." Because he's like, "I'm not going to give you a dirty ball, dude. I can't get any claims." I was like, "Bro, I don't care. Just sign it." He said, "Come back tomorrow and I'll have another one signed for you." Went back the next day, went down to the dugout. He had my second baseball for me. I ended up giving that ball, the clean ball, to my good friend, James Weber, which is my daughter's godfather. So that's my Reggie Jackson story. So you have one of those balls. I got double.
I was about to say, so you're gonna send that clean one to your boy Pettey, but I
gave it to my good friend that was a lifelong Yankees fan. Baseball, because I'm a good person, a good friend. So I got the dirty one. He got the clean one.
In 79, the Yankees came down and played in Tuscaloosa, a scrimmage game against Alabama. Reggie Jackson, the whole gang. And they said the funny thing was in the Alabama dugout, it's a bunch of college kids. You looked over in the Yankees dugout, and Reggie Jackson was sitting there just hammering a lung dart. Smoking in the dugout. They had beer in the locker room. They just treated it like it was hilarious. But, yeah, the Yankees Reggie Jackson actually played in a Yankees uniform in Tuscaloosa for a baseball game. There's your fun fact for the night to end on. Someone said Ricky Henderson was their favorite player. Look, man, Ricky.
I see you, Don Parker. You know OG. Montgomery, Alabama's finest.
We will finish it on one Ricky. Ricky called Harold Reynolds the year he won the stolen base title. Harold, it's Ricky. 56 stolen bases. Ricky that had that at the All-Star break. With that said, you can follow this cast. Smoke, we've gone long. I appreciate it. We're going to have to do a baseball show.
If they want it, we'll give it to them.
We will give them a baseball show. Look, hit that like and subscribe. Follow us. Do all that good stuff. Come over from Twitter X tomorrow night. Me and Smoke are going to be out tomorrow night, but the guys are going to be back. Marvin, Justin, the main man. They're going to have Tony Brown tomorrow night. Check them out. Bama Standard. Hit that like and subscribe. But Smoke, more importantly, where can they follow you and find you, good sir?
Coach G.V. Dixon. Listen, man, if you want content, you want to have a good argument, just don't be like my man from Tennessee and try to get at me. Because if you try to get at me, I'll shut you down in a heartbeat. Just be nice, and I won't let you go viral. But I'm often known to do that. Leave me alone. I won't leave you alone. Don't disrespect me, and I won't have people laughing at you.
Look, you can always catch Smoke and me every Monday night here on the Opening Kick, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Smoke and Marvin, they're still working out the time frame, constantly smoking.
Y'all I want to know what the chat's saying that what time we should pull up, man. I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah, they're talking about Tuesday mornings, chat. Let them know, because that's one of the most highly requested shows on the network, and it's one that we need to find a permanent home. So let us know, fans, when y'all want to see Constantly Smoking. I think Tuesday mornings being tossed around. all that good stuff. But, man, always we appreciate you fans for coming out, spending your time with us on this Monday night. We went a little long, but y'all stayed with us. And, hey, let us know. If y'all want to hear us talk some baseball, leave it in that chat. Say, guys, y'all can do a baseball show because me and my man Smoke, we dig the hardball. So, look, great Monday. As always, I've talked enough. We'll see you next week. Much love. Peace out.
See ya.